So this is again Longchenpa's Precious Treasury of the Basic Space of Phenomena, translated by Choki Nima. And just to remind what the whole text is about, it's about your own mind. It's about your own awareness. The awareness is like space. So right now, you're listening to this since we're an online meditation group on a device. And in between your eyes and the device in conventional space, there's a little depth to it. And notice that space just between you and the device. Just for fun, try and grab that space. Really, for real. Try and grab space. No, you can't, because space is not an object. And just like that, your mind is not an object. Space doesn't have a center. Your mind doesn't have a center. And there are many ways to access this. One of the ones that we use is to have a thought. Cats are curious. That's a good one. So have the thought, cats are curious. Just the one thought. Cats are curious. Now, where is that thought? Maybe the thought fades away. Where did it fade into? The place where it is and the thing that it faded into, we call the basic space. And that's what this book is about. Maybe just for fun, let's try another way. If this works for people, then great. If not, just leave it. So let's try with the visual sense. So right now, whatever you're looking at must be mind. Maybe you agree with this logically. There's nothing else that it could be made out of, so it must be mind. Everyone agrees to it. So again, become aware of the space between you and the device. And then close one of your eyes. Well, when you close one of your eyes, the depth is gone. One eye cannot see depth. And open it up again. And there's the space. There's the depth. Well, that's interesting. So close one eye again. And let's look at what are we actually seeing with just one eye open. Well, we don't have depth, but we do have color. And there is a bit of position. Where is this color? With one eye closed, where is the distance between you and the color? Between the eye that's perceiving and the color perceived? The place where that is the basic space. That no position that you can't name, that has no depth to it, is just immediately present for you, is the basic space. And even if you open both eyes and bring the depth back, well, the depth itself arises in the basic space. You see? So this whole book is just about that. And if you don't see it, that's okay. There are a million other directions. And we'll cycle through them all. If you didn't see it, do you have any questions? If you did see it, do you have any comments? Thomas says, cool. Very cool. Thank you, Thomas. Everyone is different. Everyone's personality will be inclined to different senses, different explanations. It's not a cookie cutter approach. So it really is quite engaging because everyone will have a different explanation of this. Everyone will experience it in their own way. And as Buddhas, you'll all give your own unique explanations that will be completely in accord with all the other Buddhas, but will be uniquely yours, which is really endlessly fun. All right, let's get to the text. So we're in the second section. Longchen, I believe he's painting a picture. It's a big analogy about basically a castle, awareness as a castle. And so he says, therefore, the fortress of infinite pervasiveness is spontaneously present and beyond extremes. Infinite pervasiveness here means that all phenomena that arise are not different than the mind. So they're pervaded by the mind. They're made of the mind. There's nothing that differs from it, so it's infinite. You'll never find anything that is not mind. You'll never have a perception that comes from outside of the thing that perceives. Longchen continues, the fortress of the spacious and timeless expanse has no division into higher and lower or in between. Just like the samayas that we walked through. There's not more awareness in the east, less awareness in the west. And why a fortress, by the way? Well, my interpretation would be that it's like a stronghold, a reliable refuge that can't be defeated. And the degree of that refuge determines, well, basically the extent of your practice. How much you trust that stronghold. Can you see that everything is mind? Or do you still believe that you need conditioned mind for some things in life? If you still believe that, it's fine. But it'll prove to you very, very gradually that the conditioned mind is not required for anything. It gives very engaging opinions and comments on a lot of things. But if you turn off the narration, the wisdom that comes by default is really all that's required. So, this fortress of refuge, Longchen says, the fortress of unborn Dharmakaya encompasses everything impartially. The fortress of the precious secret, meaning awareness, is unchanging and spontaneously present. And we were talking about dream states. And one way to notice awareness is to look for the thing that never changes. When you were a child, what was the same between then and now for you? Before you were born, what was the same? Before you had an idea of a face, what was the same? Many people can actually remember their childhood and remember awareness in their childhood and make the connection, which is a very nice way of getting certainty. And you can test that in your current state. What was the same between yesterday and today? About 5 minutes ago and now. Longchen continues. The universe of appearances and possibilities, whether of samsara or nirvana, is perfect as the timeless fortress of a single state of equalness. Do people know what Nirvana is? Or should I explain that? I'm getting stares. Yeah, she says, should. Yeah, Cheryl, you want to jump in?
Yes, I'm very glad I found this group because now I'm being introduced to texts that very poetically put into words something I've noticed before I found y'all. I used to think about what he calls the fortress, and I didn't have a name for it, like a fortress, but I like that idea very much about this continuing mind that is always present no matter where you are. And I used to imagine like the Mandelbrot set and how you can delve into it and you can go and you can go and you can go forever. But no matter how deep you go, you can never break beyond, uh, I guess, what he would call the fortress of the mind or awareness. And so this is very nice to see someone putting this into words, what I believe I was kind of sensing or experiencing.
Yeah, it's very nice. The conditioned mind definitely has an experience of awareness that seems like it keeps going and going and going. And you can prove this because we can talk about the same awareness for years and years, and it never gets old. There's always something new to talk about. It really does have infinite depth. And the awareness itself is kind of all at once. It's the experience of the whole Mandelbrot at all resolutions, just simultaneously. And as long as you don't elaborate on that, then that's the experience. Oh yeah, she's sharing a Mandelbrot. Oh, cool. So let me touch on Nirvana because it's actually relevant to what we do in this group, and I hope Dawei will correct me if I say anything out of line. But sometimes we talk about self-liberation of phenomena, and we're very careful in this group to phrase it as basically not a goal state. It doesn't matter whether all phenomena liberate or not. What's important is the certainty that the phenomena will liberate themselves. So progress here isn't really measured in how much phenomena are dropping off. Similarly, it's not required for full Buddhahood for all phenomena to fully drop off. That would be the fallacy where a Buddha is completely blind and pooping himself because he can't find the toilet. No, it's not like that. So the when phenomena self-liberate, thank you. A commenter said, I already do that, so I guess I'm ahead. Very good. Well, when phenomena self-liberate, it's called like extinguishing in the Dharma. So when they extinguish, there's an experience of extinguishing. And often this brings a huge amount of relief, particularly if their presence was upsetting in some way or they were seen to be negative. When phenomena in samsara arise, they have a quality called Vedana, which is translated in English as like hedonic tone, like hedonism. And it basically means when a phenomena arises, there's a little meter that co-arises with it that says, is it pleasurable? Is it neutral? Is it negative? And it's always like that. And so we have reactions to phenomena and then want to get rid of them, want them to stay, something like that. Well, it's possible for phenomena that are unseated, meaning you don't have existing preconceptions about them. They're not fitting into a story that you've already created and are maintaining. Phenomena will still arise. vision will still arise. And so because they don't have a hedonic tone, and because they're not fitting into some narrative, they're said to be the phenomena of nirvana, which means extinction. So even nirvana is still a phenomenal experience, which is why in the Dzogchen teachings, they don't stress turning samsara into nirvana. That would be a path of transformation. Dzogchen teachings stress the equality of samsara and nirvana. That what's arising now is already essentially extinguished. This hedonic tone doesn't have to be taken seriously. The stories that are propping this up are their own creation and will self-liberate. So this instruction to trust in the certainty of self-liberation is equivalent to trusting that this samsara is already this nirvana. And what this means very practically is that you can relax. You don't have to gauge your progress based on, am I having a good or bad meditation session based on what's arising? It completely does not matter. You'll have the experience of self-liberation. And with that, you can trust that having seen 150 different things all self-liberate, well, the rest will self-liberate too. It's in their nature. Everything that arose will go away. And trusting that will really, really let you relax. And that relaxation will bring you to effortlessness. Yeah, Marilla?
Yeah, I just want to mention something very quickly. That was wonderful, Dorje, by the way. That was really beautiful. I think it's very easy to, because this is not a belief system, and I think Tao is always pointing this out. I guess it's very easy to adopt this as a belief system. And I think it's different when you just adopt it as a belief system versus you realize it, because if you really do the practice and you come to the realization of this, it means that, that there's no suffering anymore, so all suffering is freed, right, in a way. So I guess it's we have to be careful, because it's very easy to fool ourselves and say, yeah, I get this, but at the same time you're still suffering, and you just have like an idea of what it is, or you just have a belief system of what it is, and that is also going to disappear, at some point. So I guess it's very easy to fall for that trap. I've been there many times, like, oh, I get this, I see this, but it's just not gonna, yeah, it's just not gonna end your suffering if you just keep it as a belief system. You have to actually experience it and do the practice and come to the realization of this, which is very different from just seeing it once, I guess. So I just wanted to, point that out in case it benefits.
Yeah, Dao always says this is the path of meditation. It's actually lived. You experience it, and you know for yourself. People can talk a big game. In this group, we're all good. But if you go out in the world, you'll see people talking a big game, but they don't know what they're talking about. It'll just be inconsistent. I kind of want to read the next paragraph. I won't comment so much, but I think it's a really nice analogy. I'd like to keep it going. So, thank you, Ropa. So, Longchen says, we're talking about Dharmakaya as a fortress. So, on this infinite foundation, extending everywhere impartially, the stronghold of awakened mind does not distinguish between samsara and nirvana. Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you, Longchen. High five. All right. Its imposing and lofty summit is the spacious expanse that is the true nature of phenomena. at the very center of the panorama of this uncreated nature, the entranceway that frees one from developmental effort is wide open. Oh, that's lovely. All right, we can stop there. Thank you, Yoshi. And thank you, everyone. Really great questions and comments. So, anything final to wrap up the session? You're all going to be good. All right. Well, then let's end the session. The moment of silence, remembering all sentient beings that are suffering in this presence. Thank you, everyone.